Getting your body to reach your ideal weight is a must for all of us, yet the road toward that goal may be filled with some pitfalls. In this case, side effects. From fatigue to constipation, they may all result in discouragement. Today, I'm going to guide you through the 8 most common side effects and what you can do to prevent them and how you make sure to avoid them all in the first place. The first side effect I want to talk about is hunger and cravings, and maybe even some mood swings. If you've got hunger and cravings on your diet, and if tweaking your meal plan doesn't fix it, then this means your meal plan or diet isn't nutritionally sound. It's likely that you're simply eating less and moving more. A reduced calorie diet of eating everything in moderation isn't the answer for most people and will cause hunger and cravings. This is an unsustainable method to dropping weight because at some point you will get tired of being hungry and you're gonna give in to those cravings. If you're eating any products that are low fat or diet, that's likely a sign that you need to find a different weight loss method. The solution is to get a customized meal plan where your macros are shifted. You need to be sure you're eating enough protein and not too much, that you're eating underneath your carb tolerance level because that's what reduces hunger and cravings, and that you've got plenty of fats with each meal and snack. I always tell my clients that if they have hunger or cravings, something is definitely wrong. I had a client that emailed me and she was a little bit nervous to get started. And she said, I just have these cravings for chocolate cake and no matter what I do, they don't go away. And I know they're never gonna go away. So don't tell me that I'm not gonna crave my chocolate cake. I said, no worries. I'm not gonna tell you anything, but you can do this. Let's get started. And she did. 3 weeks later, she emailed me and told me that it was unbelievable. She felt liberated because she no longer craved that chocolate cake. The second side effect that you might feel is fatigue or decreased energy levels. This can happen most often due to 2 reasons. One, if you're eating a low-calorie, everything in moderation diet and you're tired, it's likely due to you just not getting enough calories in. Increase total calories and you'll feel better, but your weight loss might slow down. If this is the case, then you need a different method to help you drop weight and feel better. The other reason that you might experience this is if you're following a diet that decreases your carbohydrates. The reason why is because your body is transitioning into fat burn. Most of us enter into a diet coming from a carbohydrate, sugar type of metabolism. We burn sugar and therefore those type of hormones and enzymes are upregulated. With this type of diet, you'll find that you start to burn fat for fuel. It takes about 6 weeks for most folks to become fat adapted, where the body is actually being able to burn fat efficiently. Give it time to learn this new skill. Same thing goes if you're on a new diet and you've reduced your carbohydrates and you're at the gym working out, you probably will feel that your peak performance, peak output level has dropped and you bonk a little bit easier or more sooner in your activity. That is the reason why, is because your body's not yet fat adapted and you're trying to push it at a faster level and it's ready. Short-term sacrifice for a long-term gain. Just give your body a little bit more time and you'll feel better. The third side effect might be headaches and dizziness. This usually comes out of a lower carbohydrate diet and is most often caused by low sodium. So when you follow a reduced carbohydrate lifestyle, the kidneys really love it. The kidneys work much more efficiently and effectively, and they're able to excrete fluids more efficiently, which is why we often see high blood pressure start to drop. This is a great thing. But when the kidneys start to excrete fluids more efficiently, with the fluid comes sodium and electrolytes. So you really, when you're following a reduced carbohydrate lifestyle, you need to have more sodium in your diet. So I would encourage you to consider drinking 1 to 2 cups of full sodium chicken or vegetable broth every day, and you're gonna feel a lot better. But I also want you to be sure that you talk with your doctor before adding salt to your diet, especially if you have been on salt restriction or if you have heart disease or kidney disease. The fourth side effect might be constipation, and this can happen due to a few reasons. First, whenever you shift up the diet, you are shifting up your gut microbiome. These are the bacteria that were used to eating one food and they're not used to eating the new food you're giving it. It takes time for some people's gut to adapt to the new diet it's being fed. You could also be dehydrated or not have enough salt in your diet. These two things will cause constipation. So make sure you're drinking enough and that you're getting enough salt in your diet. I know it sounds a little strange. You could also be eating a diet that's too low in fat. Dietary fat is actually the primary stimulus to a bowel movement, not fiber like most of us think. Eat enough fat and it helps to make the GI tract kind of like a slip and slide. Meals with dietary fat actually create a nerve signal called the gastrocolic reflex, and it's essentially letting the colon know that there's been a significant amount of food ingested and it's entered in the system and we need to do something with it. Foods that can be helpful that you could add back into your diet, but depending upon what your diet allows, would be zucchini and summer squash, carrots, specifically raw, and raw beets. I like to grate them. That's a good way to put them into your salad. Winter squash, chia seeds, and avocado. These are all great foods that can combat your constipation. If these aren't an option, you can't add them into your diet, then I would suggest a few things. One would be a magnesium supplement in doses of 400 to 800 milligrams taken at night, and it's gonna help draw the water into your bowel and speed up your bowel movements along to help promote softer, more expeditious evacuations. You didn't know that we were gonna be talking a lot about poop, did you? This is particularly helpful for if you're experiencing tiny, hard balls of stool. If your stools instead are large but just too hard to pass comfortably, then an over-the-counter stool softener like Colace might be helpful to absorb and hold on to the moisture. Another potentially helpful item is bulking fiber, kind of like a psyllium husk or a sugar-free Metamucil. That could be helpful too. Another side effect that you might experience when you're dieting is dry mouth or in general dehydration. I mentioned salt a little bit earlier. Remember, especially if you've dropped your carbs down, you likely need more salt in your diet. It could also be a result of just drinking too much water. So here's the deal. If you just drink plain water, your body's not going to be able to hold on to that water. The body is really careful to absorb too much water because it can dilute the sodium levels in your blood. So if you're on a reduced carbohydrate lifestyle, you've let go of extra fluid, your kidneys are working better. With that extra fluid comes salt. Well, the body has to have a specific level of sodium in the body to function. I mean, it makes the heart beat. It's really important. So if you push in a lot of extra water, you drink a lot of plain water, it could potentially dilute the already lower levels of sodium in your blood. And this results in a condition called hyponatremia. And I bet you've heard of people who have actually died from drinking too much water. This is what happens. So if you feel like you're just dehydrated on this diet, or again, you have dizziness, headache, fatigue, you're probably dealing with a little bit of hyponatremia. So getting enough salt in there, adding a squeeze of lemon and sea salt to your water, or getting in some electrolytes can be really helpful to keeping you hydrated and feeling your best. Another side effect that you may experience is hair loss. And at PhD, we don't see hair loss as a side effect because you're getting a lot of great calories, enough calories, you're getting healthy fats and protein, and this all supports your hair. If you're experiencing hair loss during weight loss, it could be from two reasons. One, if you're on a severely reduced calorie diet and taking hormones along with it, or two, it has nothing to do with the diet at all. And this often happens. It's just coincidental, but it's not contributing due to the weight loss. What I want you to be aware of is that most of us lose hair about 4 to 6 months after that stressful event. So think about what happened to you 4 months ago, 6 months ago. Did you get COVID? Did you get a divorce? Did you have a baby? Usually the hair loss isn't related to the weight loss experience. It's related to something that happened about 4 to 6 months ago. Another side effect that you could be experiencing is muscle loss. If you're experiencing true significant muscle mass, then it's likely because you aren't eating enough protein and you're not participating in resistance training. These two things are key to maintaining your muscle mass during your weight loss. I do want to provide you with an interesting fact though. 25% of muscle loss when measured by a body composition scale is expected. The body composition scales aren't 100% accurate, and they measure all type of muscle in this number, not just skeletal muscle mass. Muscle also contains a lot of water, so that initial muscle loss you experience on a diet isn't actually muscle itself, it's the water weight. In addition, this is really interesting, your fat cells actually have muscles in their cell wall. About 12% of your fat cell is actually made up of muscle. So the scale might show that you've lost muscle, but it's not skeletal muscle mass. It's instead this fat cell wall that you're letting go of. You'll also be letting go of some splenic tissue that was increased due to excess fat mass. And this is also made up of muscle, but we don't care if we lose it. It's actually a good thing to lose. So if you see your muscle mass decrease on these scales, but you're getting adequate protein and participating in resistance training, you should be in the clear, just like our clients are at PhD when they have a nutritionally sound meal plan. We have a client, Dave, who came in because he was trying to lose weight and he was participating in a program that severely reduced his calories. As a result, he was seeing significant muscle loss. We helped him with a customized meal plan. We gave him all of the right amount of proteins and healthy fats, and he found his muscle come back and he felt much stronger with greater quality and quantity of muscle mass. If you want to drop weight and just lose the fat and not the muscle, then reach out to us at PhD. We'll get you on a call with one of our nutritionists and we'll talk about customizing a meal plan for you and delivering it right to your door so that you can drop weight successfully and sustainably. The last side effect that you might experience when dropping weight is menstrual irregularities in women. And this occurs with either your calories being too low, or you're exercising too much, or you're not getting enough fat. And lastly, you could be really stressed about something. The way to get your menstrual cycle back is generally either to eat more or reduce stress, because both of those are going to have the most significant impact on becoming more regular with that. In general, some side effects are normal during your weight loss journey. Your body is going through a huge transition and becoming a better and healthier version of yourself. It takes time for the body to adjust. If any side effects become severe or persistent though, it's really important to consult with a healthcare provider, because all of these could possibly and are likely not correlated with your diet at all, and they're simply a coincidence. We tend to blame whatever might be new in our life or our different symptoms when it could be something much deeper that needs to be looked into. Until now, I've talked about all of the negative side effects associated with weight loss, but as you know, the list of positive effects is much longer. There are the usual ones like being fitter and being more self-confident. Did you know people suffering from arthritis can benefit enormously from losing weight? Here, I'm going to tell you everything about the impact of weight on your joints and how more weight results in much more joint pain. A different diet may result in incredible outcomes and resolve problems for you that you never thought you'd be able to overcome. See you there.